Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. So today we're going to talk about relationships and how that relates to human energy is what we felt like starting with today. With these things, it can always take some twists and turns because we are channeling and we are allowing that process. Okay. First, let's clear the board. So you should know by now that you have an energy system. There's something that I would like to share with you actually. There was something that I got guided to share with you. There we go. Sorry about that. I have this, and we would like to share this with you. This is the macabre. This is a very ancient sacred symbol, but it has a very particular meaning in the human energy body. So as you can see, there is a top tetrahedron here, and there is a bottom tetrahedron. There is a person named Drunvala Melchizedek that channeled this information, and he basically, the top tetrahedron, this is ancient spiritual knowledge, right? The top tetrahedron represents the top 3 chakras. That is the male aspect, which is the knower. That is where the information from the knower sort of get filtered into the body. The body is the bottom tetrahedron. And the bottom tetrahedron, 3 lower, right? The heart is in the middle, which is the combination of the 2. So when those 3, upper and lower, they're mirrored aspects between, listen to Gaia. We're actually going to open. It's just an interesting dance I have now with YouTube. I'm just allowing myself to do whatever I feel like in the moment, and I'm just exploring that and see where that leads, because I have noticed that when I allow that dance between the 2, and this is me with my feeler, allowing my feeler to do these things. It's an impulse from the body. Oh, I want to do this. Oh, I want to do that. That is what I'm demonstrating also with these videos. So I just to explain what we're doing here, because this is the integration that we're all meant to undergo. Many beings, what they do is they project onto the other partner, or if they don't have a partner, they wish they had a partner, and then they're lost without a partner type of thing. Not lost, but they fall for these types of stories, you know. So if you are here again, let's say that this is a man and this is a woman. So this is how can we distinguish that? We usually do it with the skirts, right? That's the give them a head. Okay, so these are usually in a relationship, and this projection of masculine feminine happens like so under the radar for most people. It's just an automatic. They don't even realize, right? And so what happens is that it creates a kink in the energy, because the normal human, here's the energy coming trickling down and down to Gaia, and the same with this being. And of course, there is always something trickling in, otherwise these two beings would not be alive. And this is who you are. You are directing that energy. You are the consciousness that's directing those two and the relationship between those two. And that, so here we have the top tetrahedron, right? And the bottom one is here. And the bottom one is active for both of them. But it might not be functioning in its most optimum capacity, because literally when this starts to spin, because they spin in certain ways that they create these incredible connection of these two energies. That's what this spinning sort of does. It sort of sucks the energy in the right direction. And so it creates this massive sort of, almost like an explosion of light. And that is the light that you are. But you can only realize it when you operate your machinery correctly. Which we're talking about all day, every day here, in different ways. So, if this being, usually this being projects, and that can be, this is like, power plays. People's relationship to power, who they listen to and not listen to. Oh, you have to listen to this and not this, and this is wrong. All of that stuff is what we're talking about. That is the dualistic, that is the framework that is filtering how much of this stream is going to go down and how much is going to be filtered out to this person, for example. And then this person now gets energy and feels good. But then if this stops, then this person feels it because the energy is gone. Let's say, okay, let's clarify this a little bit. There are many dynamics like this, but and we can absolutely go into details. But let's say that this is a romantic relationship and there's attraction. In the honeymoon stage, there's good thoughts going this way, hope, optimism. There's good thoughts going that way in this consciousness and this consciousness. And yes, we are all part of God and all of that. But if that filter here, so after a few years, you get annoyed and you see each other's patterns and, maybe you don't like what you see or whatever. Well, for whatever reason, perhaps you start to judge that person for certain things. That person feels that on some levels. And perhaps and then if that person judge, then the other person judge, and then it goes in ping pong. And that is sort of a projection that is, we are moving away from that, all of us. We are moving away. And this is the dualistic perspective. Many beings are still doing this, but this is what we are moving away from as humanity. We have to. Otherwise, because this stuff here, this is like, for a higher being, this is like looking at kids in the sand playing. And it's completely fine. You can do that. But it seems like everyone is doing that. And so we want to introduce a new way of being. So if we take away this, so instead of, so this is what we will call the future of relationships. So instead of, if you focus on this other person, you focus good thoughts. And why? Like, if you don't like this person, you can just, it feels good to judge and to like do whatever and try and get back and keep that thing alive. That is like digging your own grave. That is, vibrationally, that is like digging your own grave. Your own grave. Never mind if something happens to the other person or not. But it's like sending either negativity deliberately or like, it has consequences for the person sending it. And so that person will then dive down in frequency. So that's not, the healthiest way for one human organism to function is to, first of all, you can get into no thoughts and all of that stuff, right? But once we start to relate to other beings, we need to be aware of this. And this is what we want you to practice alone before you dive into other partnerships, which practically speaking might not be feasible for many, but that is the ideal. And you can do this in a partnership too, right? It's just a matter of getting your masculine and feminine to collaborate, regardless if it is self-internal or if you have projected it outside and given someone the rights to, let's say, take care of your body. You know, that can be one thing. The man is out making money and the woman is taking care of the body, taking care of the home, taking care of the beauty and all of that. There's a lot that goes to that. And many distorted knowers, there is a lot of value in beings that really know how to nurture and look after the environment. Make it uplifting. But not to please the husband. That's a different thing. Like, there needs to be a common goal for both of them. And right now, most couples usually don't have a common goal, especially not in the dualistic perspective. Perhaps someone that, you have taken an oath and you're just writing it out, so to speak. Like, there are so many different variants of this in the dualistic perspective, and you can figure out your own configuration too. Like, now you have men, women, and all kinds of configurations. And so the configuration doesn't matter. The internal energetic balances is what matters. How balanced are you between who you are, so that you don't have too much filtering going on, so that what's being expressed is not who you truly are. And that is when, if both are in service to that stream, to have that stream running, that's the key. Because then this person is hooked up to infinite intelligence or higher intelligence that we like to play with, since AI is so popular. So we like to say HI. And then you have this person, and there are so many dances. Like if you are in a dualistic partnership and you have this going on, you have to start to pull it back and start to give to yourself. And once it overflows, then the other beings are just delighted to experience the beauty of you blossoming. But there shouldn't be any expectation of, yes, it's good to have some common, like you have to obviously have repertoire with each other, and there's a lot of things that is at play when we go into partnerships. So we haven't fully dived into that just yet. We're just talking a little bit general about it, because it's important that we start to think this way in partnership also, because that is how we actually truly can create harmony in relation to this environment, which is needed in the coming times that we're heading into. And so if both are getting their source here, and how does that look? It's very individual for both people. And it's sometimes maybe one person needs some alone time. And that doesn't mean that there is a problem in the relation. Like all of this stuff, attachments to crave another human being for themselves. There's a lot of letting go that is needed for this to fully be realized. But it is what is sought after in like Tantra and like these really intimate couples way of integrating. That is what they're seeking. They're seeking that, and then coming together with that intact. And that's a whole nother ball game. That is an advanced relationship. Most beings that we have seen are not here. But that is the future of relationships. And in the process, it is very useful and helpful, instead of just sleeping around. we have been in study of this. Like we can sort of see the spiritual, like sleeping around, or like being, oh yeah, you can have lots of weird twisted perceptions. Yeah, no, my love is free, I give my love to everyone, and then they have sex with everyone type of thing. Like it's just, sometimes people just don't know exactly what they're talking about when it comes to energy. They say one thing and they mean another. That also needs to be clarified, so that the energy can flow through properly. Because saying that, doing something else, that's twisting the energy in your system. And so the less, of course there will be some of this in the beginning, that's natural. But then you're working through it, and then that is a holy relationship. That creates, and if you also, whatever you are projecting onto them is upliftment. If anything, you're not obligated, but if you want to project something and share something, share things that are uplifting, that lift up, the same as you would want. But also share the truth. Don't hide anything. Just say that someone is beautiful if they're not, it's not really helpful. It's not about that. But of course, it's about getting to know the person, and then you can see their inner beauty. Things like that, right? It's the energy. So when you can get into a state where you can sort of, and we're now using almost like man-woman here example, but this is exactly the same thing as what this is, which we're going to explain here. So when you, with yourself, because I'm mainly focusing on the self right now, mainly, even though this has been a little bit about relationship, but we want to just pair that because it's actually the same as your own masculine and feminine, except that you're projecting, right? Once you are your best supporter, or the person's best supporter, and you truly allow space for true healing, not for just catharsis for the sake of it, you know? Like, there are many twisted perceptions when it comes to what healing looks like. Some being thinks healing is when you get angry, you go into go in the woods and you scream and you yell it out. That actually just perpetuates it, and you're using your body to create chaos in your own environment. It's much better to feel what's underneath that and feel. Take sensitivity for that. Because then that's when you get to that relaxation, that's when this starts to work again. You know, this starts to work again. The more of these we feel through, so that our energy system is clean. And yeah, sometimes we pick up energies here and there, and then we deal with it. And we clean energies. And you can get into these states where, when you know how to treat your body right, you give it what it needs and what it desires, and you sort of let it lead you sometimes. But you lead it when it goes off astray. You know, binge watching something, you're like, okay, there's something I haven't done here, right? When you get into a really good groove with your body and with your partner, or with your partner, you can get into these really heightened states of consciousness. And this is what the holistic perspective is. And this is what all of these 28-day shifts that we're running them continuously. And if you want to join us, there is a link in the bio or in the description for you to join. But once you get that balance right, you can get into these states where life is just miraculous. It's like, whoa, we have gotten into states that it's not constant. It's not like, it's like it ebbs and flows, but it ebbs and flows upward. And then it's more and more of these ecstatic states. The more we fully process everything in the depth, when we are in the depths. Because we go up and down, depending on what we are experiencing in life. But these states are, wow. It's, and this is a state I've only managed to experience with my own body, with certain momentum that I have managed to build over time. And that's the goal, to ride those momentums. Because that's when this is spinning, and it's spinning fast. And what that means is that you're going up in frequency. That's what these are. They are spaceships. But, you know, it doesn't... Sometimes people have ideas about, okay, this, and then a spaceship and a ball of light, and then it shoots off. Maybe that can happen. But the start of getting familiarized with the internal workings of this Ah, some clearing. Ah. And just like that, now we overly, and now the body let us know, okay, we have to adjust to the body, which is the lower, right? The physical. Thank you so much for watching. I feel like that's what we wanted to share for this one. We're pondering a little bit if we should do some feeler exercises. That sometimes helps. We'll see. No, we feel like it's enough for today. All right. Take care, and we'll talk to you again in the next one.